Greetings and welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Wednesday. So it's Leading Ladies Leaving Legacies. And oh my goodness gracious sakes alive, do we have a fascinating featured guest speaker and a topic for all of us today, no matter what generation you're in. I always honor and welcome you here because I know what all of this immersed in what we're doing is about. And our theme this month is to bloom boldly. The world needs your color, mine, everyone's. So we're going to be talking about something that's major today. My featured guest speaker, I'm going to give you just a little bit about her background. She's a passionate, holistic, and health longevity coach. Now, who doesn't love that? Don't we all want to live long and be healthy and make the best of every day of our lives? I think if you're not in that camp, something is wrong. And we're going to be talking a lot about that, giving you just some good tidbits about the best way to go about it. Cynthia W Shelton is a holistic and longevity coach. And she's been at this for quite a while. She's an educator with a master's degree in adult and continuing education, and she has over 40 years experience working with both businesses and schools. Aren't they both aligned in the best way? I think they are. She went from a teacher to an executive director of PIPE, which I didn't know about, but I now know, private initiatives in public education. She could share with us so much about her partnership and how that went. But today we're going to be talking about longevity, health, wisdom, and wealth. So all I want you to do, my League of Eagles, is to sit back and just help me welcome our featured guest speaker. Cynthia, as they say on the telly, come on up and welcome.
Sitting in the background, you have me just giggling. And
good, I love laughter.
Oh, you're wonderful, Joy. Who wouldn't say yes to be part of your program? Who wouldn't? This is wonderfully fun to be with you.
Thank you, my love. And you just gave the right word, because as serious as I am, I really look to have fun and have it playful, along with being educational, insightful, and all of those good adjectives. But Cynthia, your work intrigues me. It excites me. And I'm more than amused in the best way by it, because I am a happy senior. And I am gung-ho for all the things that you're teaching and all the things that you're about. Before we get going into the depth of it, you can share with us a teeny weeny bit of how you came to do this work.
Oh, that's a good question to start with, Joy. You know, I was a professional school administrator, and I loved working in the applied learning field. To me, that's what all children, academic and vocational students, the integration and the application of education. So I loved my work, and I worked long hours, and I commuted long hours. I commuted an hour and a half up and an hour and a half back.
Woo-hoo.
And I neglected my health because you're driving and you're working. I would grab a muffin or I'd grab a latte. And, you know, Joy, when I retired, I called it frumpy and lumpy. That's what I was. I didn't like myself.
I love that. I love that. And Cynthia, you know, I love to, well, you don't know, but you know now, I do love to laugh, but I laugh in harmony and in love. I don't laugh in judgment, because what you said is so true for the majority of us. The integration of health and education, rather, is pivotal. It's major. But then you said with those long hour and a half and more drives that you took back and forth you neglected your health, because when you're in that mode of doing, it happens. So that brought you to the health and holistic aspect of your work, right?
It did. I thought, I've got to get this weight off. I mean, it was about 15 pounds. So it wasn't horrible, a lot to take off, but it was enough that I didn't have any energy. You know, when you are overweight, you don't have any energy. I was losing my brain clarity. I couldn't remember things, taking naps every day. And I had some grandchildren that I really wanted to run around the woods with and play. And I knew I had to do something about it. A girlfriend came to me because she saw me lifting weights in the gym, and I was budging. And she said, do you know about a health lifestyle that there's no diet? It's a lifestyle of really dense nutrition and a healthy way to eat, a way you can rely on your nutrition. I said, well, I don't know about that. Once I found out that I could rely on the nutrition in my body to turn around and reverse the way I sluggishly was feeling, it was from there on, I wanted to share it. There was just no doubt.
This is what I love. This is what I love, because all of us, as we come to a point, no matter what we do, and nothing, no camp that you're professional and excellent and an expert in is better than another, because everyone, we all need each other. I love the way you brought to us about how you came to this 15 pounds overweight, which is really not major. I'm about there now because of all, but I know how to get rid of it, and I will, and I'm starting now. But you mentioned my favorite word, energy. Because for me and for you, I know without even asking, it's not about being forever young. It's about being forever youthful, that exuberance and that energy that you have. And energy is what it needs to be. And you also mentioned frumpy and lumpy and so on. Love that. That made me laugh. That made me giggle. But you talk about a lifestyle. So how did you get to aging powerfully, rebuilding energy, strength, and vitality after 50?
After 50, that's when it hits. That's when when metabolism slows down. That's when you start to get tired in the afternoon. You lose that vim and vigor that you used to have.
Exactly.
And, how did I get it? Well, I was trying to lift weights and I was increasing my walking, but then I would be too tired to walk very far. I'll tell you the company that I am relying on, it's Isogenics. And I've never found anything like it. And I've done a lot of comparison. It's so high grade, so dense nutrition and stress reduction. Those are the two main things. Then the third leg is a toxin removal. You detox, you cleanse once a month, a couple times a month if you want. You just get rid of toxins, and then you flood your body with this dense nutrition. And you rely, I just have 1 or 2 shakes a day or smoothies, probably just 1 smoothie a day now. I still love to eat. I'm a gourmet cook. My husband and I love to have a glass of red wine with dinner. I mean, I'm not going to give up my lifestyle. I just want to maintain the health that I've got.
You know what? You just mentioned the 3 PowerPoints that all of us who are wanting to be forever youthful, not young. Because one of my favorite women in the fashion business said that aging is inevitable. Growing old is optional. And I so embraced that because I knew in my heart and soul connection, it was real. And what you just said about Isogenics helping you with the high grade that it is, stress reduction and detoxing. You also mentioned that you do a smoothie once a week, maybe twice sometimes, but all of these things help you to maintain your energy and vitality without taking away some of your lifestyle that you had before. But now you're wiser, So makes a difference. How did that lead to aging means slowing down, reclaiming your energy, strength, and joy after 50? I think you just mentioned it to us, but expound about that a little bit more.
Well, when you're not, you see women our age lose their confidence.
Exactly.
See them start to pull back, not either just gain a lot of weight and allow it because that's the accepted thing for older women to do is just gain a lot of weight. Yes. You see that happening. And then you see them kind of retracting inside and not being as outgoing as they could be, contributing, volunteering, working, waving signs for their favorite politician. Whatever they want to do is lost because they don't have the energy to do it. So if you can find a way that you can rely on keeping your energy and keeping your nutrition really level for yourself, you don't have to give up because it isn't hard. I mean, I wrote an article called I Love Food. I was something, I can't remember the title. It was I Love Food. I'm a foodie. I think that's what I called it.
Yes.
I want to rely and forget about it. Get going, have a great life, go hiking with your girlfriends, play with your grandkids and be interested in other people. But I don't want to be figuring out diets. And I do follow the Mediterranean diet for my 2 knife and fork meals, because I'll have a smoothie a day just to maintain my nutrition. But we follow the Mediterranean diet with our other 2 meals, and that's all we need.
You know, I love the way you voice that and the way you explain that, Cynthia, because you don't want to, and I love the way you said you're a foodie. I am too. I
Yeah.
always have been. I love food, and most all foods, every ethnic group you name, I have dishes that I love. But it's about knowing what's the best lifestyle for you. And you said already that the Mediterranean turned out to be one of the best ones for you.
Yeah.
And so, but you still love your foods, but you've learned how to eat the right foods for you
Right,
now.
right.
And maybe change or tweak some of the way you were preparing some of the foods that you loved before. I don't know, but I do know that there has to be somewhere a food change, altering your food and how you eat and enjoy it. You said you and your husband have maybe a glass of red wine every now and then, maybe every night. It doesn't matter because you're eating the right foods, and it keeps your energy where it needs to be. I love that. And what you mentioned about isogenics, I've heard that name before, Cynthia, but I don't know much about it. You said it's high grade and all of that. What else can you tell us about this product? Because now my curiosity, I'm intrigued by it.
Well, the formulator of isogenics was a wonderful man who had been formulating for many, many companies and many, many products for them. And they all told him to cut back on the quality so that they could make a profit. And they were advertising in magazines and on television and things, and paying for big GNC buildings, that kind of thing. And so when he retired, he really was very, very wealthy. And he retired in Arizona, and he was hiking, and he got bitten by a brown recluse spider. He lost one of his kidneys. A daughter had to give him one of hers. He was going blind in one eye, and they were going to amputate the leg that he'd been bitten on.
Oh, my goodness.
He said, let me go back to the lab and let me formulate the way I want to. He got grass-fed cattle from New Zealand cattle. They have incredible standards for their milk production. He uses undenatured processing to convert the protein from the animal or from plants in a cool temperature so that you don't lose any amino acids. You've got the complete protein package that is all essential. You must have them all. And then he went to, the Russians came to America, or I can't remember how they shared it, but they came up with adaptogens. Adaptogens now is a well-known word. So first of all, undenatured protein, the cool temperature for dehydration, then adaptogens for stress reduction, just release, and they are from plants that cling to the Himalayas and are really, they adapt to really bad temperatures and and so that's what adaptogen means. And when you have, John and I take an ounce, and just a simple ounce every day, every morning before we start our breakfast, and has a lovely calming effect. It gives you a little bit of a lift. It's hard to explain a lift and a calm, but it happens. It's wonderful. People say if they were on an island by themselves, all they'd want is to take their adaptogens with them. That's called Ionic Supreme. It's a little drink. And then we do then the cleansing part, which I do twice a month. But, it's not hard. I actually really enjoy the way I feel. I don't feel bloated and I don't feel sluggish. I just feel renewed. The energy comes.
Renewed.
Yeah, it's really good. So,
Cynthia, this is a great story. And I have to, my only DNA is to be honest. That my integrity is everything to me. And so you mentioned a word that you said most everyone knows. I don't think I've heard it explained in the way that you just did. Adaptogens,
right?
Adaptogens.
Yeah.
I don't think I think I've heard the word adapt and whatever, but not expressed that way. But the story behind this is what intrigued me. This doctor who left, and you said he was very profitable, he made a lot of money, and he wasn't anywhere near in the hurtful financial bag.
Right.
But he had these things happen to him, and he said, I'm going to do this my way. We're going to do it my way now. And I love that. With the things that you expressed, a leg, they were almost, and his daughter gave him a kidney and all that kind of stuff. And he decided to go and do is Isogenics his company?
Yes, it means balanced life. I suggest Balanced Life. And he reached out to network marketers to help him share it because he knew then he could save money on advertising if people shared it. But they had already retired, the network marketers. They had retired and they said, we will only join a company where we can make it the best for the associate, the person who's sharing it. So their model always was to help the person sharing. Who wouldn't want to just call your friend up and say, I found something. You said you were looking. Would you like to do this with me?
And I love it.
And remember, Joy, it isn't changing your life. It's maintaining a beautiful, rich, robust, gourmet, go out to dinner at restaurants, have a glass of wine with your dinner, but just supplement one meal, maybe two if you want, but one meal a day with a high grade, yummy smoothie. And it's so easy. I grab my smoothie and I head to the gym. I mean, it's great.
Well, you mentioned, you summed it all off by saying his theory or mantra was a balanced life. Oh. And I'm not going to assume anything. I know that most people, as moms, and I use this in love, and I say it in love, with half a brain would always be working towards that. And then you talk about how he came to do this. And my mantra is balance, harmony, and unity, which is a balanced life. So I get that. Listen, my love, before we go any further, we're going to come back and talk about living fully after 50, how to feel strong, radiant, and energized again. And you already alluded to how one can do that. And we're going to expound a wee bit more on that before we close out the show. So stay tuned. I'm going to do a quick little reboot here with a reset, and then I'll be back with you. So my engineer is going to scoot you in the green room, and we'll be ready to get back to you soon. And now we're going to talk about Leading Ladies Leaving Legacies. This is a group that Cynthia belongs to. And if you're not there, you belong there, because this is a community of forward-thinking women who are in all the generations, mainly the after 40, 50 and on, because age is not something as far as numbers that I have ever bought into. And maybe that's why the blessings come to me this way. But I want you to go and sign up, because your vision, your mission, and your purpose, just like Cynthia's, it matters. And people need you more than you think they do. You might think that whatever you have belongs to you, but it belongs to all the others that you want to connect with. And then I want you to go to my YouTube channel. Connect with me every week on a Thursday. We do Joy Ruffin fashioning, femininity, style, and truth. And let me just share this with you. This is not only about fashion or style. It's about you knowing who you are at your core, and then sharing that wisdom, that love, and that knowledge with others who need you, and doing it in a way where you're not in any way being critical, but you're sharing what you know and what you love. That's that. And then, my friends, I also want you to be aware of this. Cynthia's graphic is strong. Live long and live strong. Well, who doesn't want that? Aging with grace, beauty, and energy. She has her phone number here. She has her website here. And she has her email address here. So you take a screenshot, take a snapshot. Even though this will be running everywhere at some point in time, you need this to get to her and connect with her. Because I can tell you that I met this lady in a beautiful group, networking group that I belong to, and I was intrigued by the work that she's doing, and I'm honored that she could come and share some of this love and wisdom with us today. That said, Cynthia, now that I'm back to you, you already mentioned it in a different way, but how do you mean after 50? And it could be after 40. It doesn't have to be 50. It could be after 60. Yeah. We all age differently. But how to feel strong, radiant, and energized again? How do we do that beyond what you've already mentioned to us? I love isogenics already. You have me wanting to explore it more. And I've always been a health enthusiast. But now I want to know more about that. But tell us what a balanced life that you mentioned and said several times, what that means to the general population.
You know, thanks, Joy. To me, balance is the key, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, I want to start every morning with that quiet. I don't take a 30-minute meditation. I take a 5-minute visualization time for me. I take another 15 minutes maybe to just meditate, be quiet, clean my brain. I want to start my day with affirmations about the day, having a happy day. I want to rely that I've got the food to eat. I just slip isogenics. It comes to my door, and I just don't go to the grocery store that much. I can transfer the dollars from the food delivery to my home from the grocery store. I make sure that I did a 9 steps or 9 tips. Make sure I fill my water bottle, and it's pink because I've got hydrate in it, and I've got some hydrate with collagen in the hydrate.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's an electrolyte. I mean, I just want to live happily and with purpose. If I feel sad, I get out and get in nature because that'll help me. And
Yeah.
I know it's a mindset to get my temperature back up. Don't we all want to have purpose?
I think we do. I think you do. And one of the reasons, and I don't brown nose and sugarcoat and candy coat anything, and I hope you know that. And if not, you're going to get to know that because I want to get to know more about you. I adore, love, and cherish proactive women, highly energized women, and personal and perennial learners all the time, which you are. That I recognize in you from the first time I met you and heard you speak. And that's what all of us as women need to become more of at our level of whatever that is. So I get that. You gave me something else here, which I love. What if the way you've been taught to age isn't the way you have to live? Now that's deep. So give us some tools about that. What did you mean by that? What if the way you've been taught to age away?
Yeah. Well, we're talking about different generations. Look, I'm 82. So I was raised a lot different than my beautiful niece that I just spent the weekend with, who's what'd she tell me? She was 37 or 40, no, 42, somewhere in there. Oh my God. And those kids, those young people grew up knowing they could be athletes, and they were confident about making sure they were out there using their brains and their bodies. I wasn't really encouraged to be athletic. Nobody told me that I could exercise every day or lift weights. Today, that's one of the most important parts of my day, is to be able to get out and walk, or to lift weights, or to do yoga stretching. If I'm not doing those things for my body, I get depressed. I strained my knee the other day because I was working too hard, and I got depressed, and I felt really sad for myself. And I thought, oh, I'm going to get fat, and I'm going to be sluggish, and I'm going to sit here and not have anything to do. So I was giving myself all those negative messages. And what I needed to do, and what I was able to do, was just pull back into my mindset and say, come on, you can do this. And this strained knee is only going to take a couple of weeks to recover. You can be back out there. Joy, not everybody ages at 40 or 50 or even 60.
Yes.
They do start to feel different, and they want to reclaim the health they had when they were my niece's age. I looked at her and I thought, we're all wanting to reclaim that early 40s, that late 30s, where you're just kind of still sexy. And, you know, that's why I know that people can give up if they think they can't do it, or if it's not going to be easy, or they can say, no, I choose to live as vibrantly as I can.
I love that word. I love that word, Cynthia, vibrancy, because I think it's major. You mentioned a few things here that I want to leave food for thought, for consideration for many. You said it's pretty much generation, and I agree with you. Except what I see and what I feel and what I know now is that the younger generation, we need each other. Because the younger generation today, it was always this way, but now it's more pronounced and it's obvious. They're more with the 3 Bs, the beauty, the brain, and the body. And mainly the body is being shown now, no matter what they're doing as far as athletic stuff or whatever it is. And you mentioned your niece, I think you said she's 37. And you mentioned and ended with that word, wanting to be sexy. I think that's where most of us have gone astray, because sexy is in the mind. And if you dress to show your confidence and you know who you are, you're automatically sexy. because you know how to string yourself together. And we do need each other. And it's all about the feeling. And if you get to be in your 30s or 40s and you're not feeling good because your body is taking another direction, you have to learn how to build that confidence. And what you're talking about, energy and the vibrancy of life and feeling good, that's what we have to do. So I'm loving that. I'm loving the way you explained it. But this is what I have noted in my happy senior years, that for the younger generation, whether they're in the entertainment business or the sports business or not, it's all about the beauty, the brains, and the body, which leads to sexuality. Sexy, I grew up with too. I never really bought into it, but that's another saga. What is the difference? What is the difference? The time flies here about the two types of women. What do you mean by that? Two types of women. That's what I want to hear. I think I might have spoke to it, but I want to hear your version.
Yeah, that's pretty pejorative of me. I shouldn't. I mean, there's thousands of types of women. Every woman is different. But I think I was thinking of the woman who just kind of gives up. And then the woman who says, no, damn it, I'm not going to give up. I think there's the woman who accepts. I don't know. I don't maybe want to sound like I'm judging.
No, you don't. Because I thought that's what you were coming to, Cynthia. Yeah. That woman who just gives up and says, what the heck? It's just my stage of life. And, I'm old and I'm just going to let it ride, a little weight, the wrinkles and the tone. That doesn't have to be. But if you decide to be that, all well and good, and kudos to you. But there's another direction that you can take, which is one that you've taken and I take, is that confidence that's natural and genuine, true to you. It takes work, but it's work that will give you benefits that are not to be questioned or measured in the end. I thought that's what you meant, more or less. And you're right. We're all different. There's zillions of us. So
yeah, maybe it's the word hope. Maybe I give up because I don't have any hope. I tried everything.
Love that.
I've done all the diets, the cabbage diet, the one where you only eat protein and you don't even eat any vegetables. I've done them too. I do know that Weight Watchers was a great way for me to learn to manage my meals.
Me too.
And so I'm a big fan of Weight Watchers, of which an Isagenix lean protein shake is 4 points. So it's easy to count. And you can say, hey, look at all the other points I've got for Mediterranean diet or the way you want to consume knife and fork meals. But to me, maybe it's just giving up hope. I can't do it.
Love that.
Know that if we support each other as sisters, let's support each other and give each other confidence. Do you know, Joy, I shouldn't probably say this on the air, but my husband and I don't get sick. We've been on Isagenix for 14 years, and we're around people who get sick and they close up shop for a couple of weeks. We don't get sick. So
love that.
I'm not saying that everybody's going to not get sick. But I'm just saying, when you respect your body and you flood it with nutrition, you can fight off disease and illness better. Let's just put it that way.
Well, Cynthia, bravo to you. Kudos I'm sending to you, always in love, because that's a great way to end the show. Because whether or not, nothing is for everyone, but something is for most everyone. And maybe Isagenix will see a great change. And I love that you mentioned Weight Watchers. I mean, many moons ago, I did Weight Watchers, and you do learn about calories and plans and all of that. And then you mentioned the Mediterranean diet. All of these things contribute to having a youthful lifestyle. Right. And I've never bought into diets, but I like the lifestyle and the life plan. So you mentioned that. All right, my love, the time is up here. I don't know where it goes. I say this every darn week because I get excited. I get immersed in the conversation, and that's a good thing. But what parting words, what food for thought, what do you want the takeaway to be today? There's so much. And we'll put up your graphic one more time while you're sharing it with us.
Joy, I want everybody to love themselves, to have a happy day, to make, when they get up in the morning, today will be a happy day for me. And I just set their mindset. I want everyone to feel that love, to feel that happiness daily, to know that there's no judgment. There are ways to help you if you want some support. Women supporting others. That's what I'm here for. I don't have to keep sharing, but I love to share just to help people feel their best. So everybody, don't feel judged, just feel loved. and know that there's support here.
Love it, love it, love it. Cynthia, I was so eager and excited to do this show, and we must do this again because your information has been powerful, insightful, and beyond paramount to all of us who can embrace it.
Thank
you. My engineer is going to scoot you in the green room, and I'm going to close out the show. I'll be with you in a second. Much love. I have to tell you, my Eagles, you know I call you my Eagles because if you're here now or for the replay, that's who you are because you care, you're interested, you want to know what's going on. And it is my honor and pleasure and my joy to be with you each and every week that we come to you so that we can share the support and sisterhood and sometimes the manhood too of those who are on this journey of being more self-aware, loving yourself, feeling the love. That's what Cynthia left us with. And that's what we're here to do. Now, a brief note here. I had a workshop that was due last Thursday, and would you believe, but sometimes I'm very karmic, whether you believe or not, that things happen for a reason. Wasn't able to do the show, but we're going to reschedule for June, and I'll be back with you because I want to share so much more with you other than fashion only. I want to share with you individual style and how you come to that, whatever it is for you. And that's about feeling the confidence, feeling the love. And she ended, Cynthia did, with, we don't get sick. Well, who doesn't want to know exactly what that means to her and how she came about that? So you have an assignment. You know I love homework. Connect with her. Find out a little bit more with her. She's a beautiful soul, and I only connect with beautiful souls so that you can learn more about maybe, hopefully, it's something that you can utilize. My Eagles, it's the end of May, and where the theme was bloom boldly, the world needs your color, it continues. We're going into the month of June, and June, because of all the transitions that I'm about, we're taking a little bit of a hiatus, but we'll be back with you in July. But the radio show, Joy's radio show, a whole new platform more or less now, will be brought to you in June on all the major platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and on, and YouTube. So join us there until we return to you in July with Leading Ladies Leaving Legacies, because that's who you are. And don't forget to get to my website. And if you want more depth and more information, I have much more there to share with you. My Eagles, I call you Eagles for a reason. It's not just a boom in the night. It came to me, and that's what I decided you are. And what you have to decide is that you are that. Be and stay well. Until we connect the next time, I send you always much love from my heart to yours. Cheers.